The quiet neighborhood looked perfect, from the outside green lawns, shiny houses, smiling faces. But behind the walls, money was missing, lies were growing, and one powerful man was hiding a dangerous secret. When neighbors decided to dig deeper, the truth they uncovered shocked the entire community and destroyed trust forever. Willow Creek was known as a safe and peaceful community. Families moved there for the parks, the schools, and the promise of order under the Homeowners Association, the HOA. The president of the HOA, Mr. Robert Miller, was respected. He wore fine suits, gave long speeches about community pride, and always sat in the front row at church. People trusted him. He controlled the HOA budget, hundreds of thousands of dollars meant for repairs, events, and safety projects. But soon, cracks began to appear. The new playground was delayed. Street lights stayed broken for months. The pool renovation never happened. Neighbors began asking, "Where is the money?" At first, people thought it was simple mismanagement. But when monthly HOA fees were raised without explanation, the anger started. Mrs. Green, a retired teacher, said, "We pay every month. Why are our streets still dark?" A small group of neighbors decided to look at the HOA financial reports. What they found was shocking numbers that didn't add up. Expenses listed with no receipts, and large withdrawals with no explanation. They confronted Robert at a meeting. He laughed and called them troublemakers. He promised everything was fine, but the seed of doubt had already grown into suspicion. Late one night, neighbor David Lopez saw Robert meeting with a stranger in the parking lot behind the clubhouse. They shook hands, exchanged a thick envelope, and disappeared into the dark. David snapped a picture. The next day, the photos spread across the neighborhood group chat like fire. People were furious. Who was this stranger? Why was money being exchanged in secret? Then came the whistleblower. Emily, the HOA treasurer, quietly resigned and slipped an anonymous letter under people's doors. The letter claimed Robert had been moving HOA funds into his personal account. Even worse, he had made secret deals with contractors taking kickbacks in exchange for overpriced maintenance contracts. The neighborhood exploded with rage. People shouted at each other in driveways. Whispers turned into screams at meetings, and the once quiet community became a battlefield. A special emergency meeting was called at the clubhouse. It was packed. Dozens of neighbors stood shoulder to shoulder, eyes burning with anger. Robert walked in, confident as ever, wearing his gold watch. He stood at the front, ready to charm his way out. But this time, people weren't silent. David stood up and showed the photos of the parking lot deal on a giant screen. Gasps filled the room. Emily stepped forward and read parts of the letter out loud, her voice shaking. "He stole from us. Betrayed. The president you trusted has been taking your money for years." Robert's face turned pale. He shouted, "Lies. These are all lies." But then another neighbor, Mark, revealed he had requested bank records through legal channels. The document showed large transfers from the HOA account to Robert's private account. The evidence was undeniable. The room erupted. People yelled, "Thief, resign. Call the police." Robert tried to leave, but two men blocked the door. Someone called 911. Within minutes, police arrived. In front of the entire community, Robert was handcuffed and taken away. The news spread across town. HOA president arrested for embezzlement. Reporters camped outside the neighborhood for days. Robert's house, once the biggest on the block, was now empty. His wife filed for divorce. His children refused to speak to him. The man who once stood above everyone else now sat in a jail cell, accused of fraud, theft, and betrayal. The HOA members voted in a new board. They promised transparency, open books, and honest leadership. Slowly, trust began to rebuild, but the scars remained. Neighbors who once smiled at each other now carried suspicion in their eyes. Everyone wondered, if it happened once, could it happen again? And late at night, some whispered about the stranger in the parking lot. Who was he? What else did Robert hide? The money deal was exposed, but maybe the full truth was still buried. The story of Willow Creek became a warning. Even in the safest neighborhoods, power can corrupt, secrets can poison, and one leader's greed can tear apart an entire community.